Well, hey, you guys. I'm hanging out here in my backyard today. What are you guys up to? Hey, are you? No, not you. You are. What's that snack you're eating? Any chance we could share that? Oh, it's okay. You can just hand it to me through your TV or through your iPad, whatever you're using. Oh, wait. Actually, I don't have that app on my phone yet. I'll have to get to work on that. You guys, you know that every so often we take a break from our regularly scheduled Sunday morning lesson for what we call a missions moment. A missions moment is where we share what God is doing in our neighborhood, in our city, and in our world. And each time we share a missions moment with you, you've learned about ordinary people, whether they're young or old, who are using their gifts and abilities to serve others and to share God's love with people where they are. Hey, what gifts or abilities has God given you? You know what? Today, you can totally ask your parents that question. And parents, you can ask your kids too. Well, right now, we're going to travel through time, because that's an app I do have, to a conversation I had a week ago with a couple of my friends. So let's watch it together. Well, guys, today I asked Johanna to interview Colleen for our missions moment. And so I'm going to just sit here and enjoy this conversation, and you guys listen in with me, okay? Here we go.
All right, great. Well, thanks for being with us today, Colleen, and thank you for agreeing to be interviewed for our missions moment this week. And I'd just like to ask you, what is your job and what is a typical day like for you?
Hi, small group. I miss you guys so much. I can't wait till we can safely be together again. So my job is called a clinical pharmacist. And so I work at Nationwide Children's Hospital. And a typical day for me starts at about 7 a.m. The hospital starts early, so if you're not an early bird, don't take a job as a hospital employee. But I start at 7 a.m. and I for the morning, I spend all morning on rounds. So what we do is the physicians who are taking care of the patient, as well as myself, go around to every room. So my job on that team is to be the drug expert. And then I spend most of my afternoons doing teaching work. So I spend a lot of time, I'll have one of the pharmacy students, graduate students with me for a month at a time, sort of learning to do my job.
Now, how do you consider your job a mission field?
Missions for me means taking the gifts that God has given you, the talents that God has given you, and even the interests that God has given you, and using those to serve others. And so for me, what that looks like is for as far back as I can remember, second, third, fourth grade, I loved math and science. And maybe some of you are like that right now too, but that's just always been an interest of mine. And then I went to high school and I realized, oh, I really like chemistry too. And look at the adults that are sitting next to you. Most adults do not like chemistry. In fact, they were happy to be done with it as soon as they could. And so I try to use those to then give back to the patients, to use those gifts to make sure that I'm making those patients well as soon as I can, and giving, since we work at a pediatric hospital, really just trying to give them their life back.
So with all of the coronavirus stuff going on, how has that affected your job on a day-to-day basis?
I'm gonna walk in that front door right there, and I'll check back in after I get in there. But you'll see that things have changed a lot since coronavirus has started here. We actually need to do a lot of garbing up and checking in with people when we walk into the hospital. And so they are going to give me a mask as soon as I walk in there. They're going to ask me if I have any symptoms of coronavirus, like new cough and things like that. And then they're also going to check my temperature just to get in the door here. So I'll check in once all that's done. Bye. Hi again, everybody. Well, here I am all garbed up and ready for my work day. We are required to wear these masks for 8 hours a day, which is certainly not comfortable, but we know that it's the safest thing for our patients, and so everyone here is more than willing to do that to protect our patients.
So can you give us a specific story about how you've seen God working in your job and through what you do?
Sure, this is sort of specific to the coronavirus time, but I think God makes all of us as humans naturally wanting to connect with others. And that's become harder now that coronavirus is here. And a lot of my colleagues are furloughed or not working or working from home right now. And so you just don't have that physical or that check-in every day with people who you're very used to seeing. But I've seen a lot of people go above and beyond and use their talents, if you will, to create that connection in really interesting ways. And one way that I thought was really cool, the parking garage where most of our employees park is across the street from the hospital. And there's actually about a 5-minute walk on a sidewalk in between that most of our employees use to walk into work every day. And so someone went out there and spent probably hours writing out all of the lyrics to the cha-cha-cha slide song, you know, the slide to the left, back up now, y'all. I don't know how it goes really, but spent all that time putting all of that on the walkway. And as you were walking into work that morning, lots of people were doing it. They were sliding to the right, sliding to the left, backing up. And it was just such a great moment of connection, human connection. And like, yeah, we're all in this together. Let's go in there and do the best job that we can for our patients.
That's awesome. How can we be praying, Colleen, for healthcare workers specifically during this time?
I think there's two main things you can be praying for, and I kind of led on to this a little earlier, but protection, health would be huge. I think we're all very aware of the extra risk that is out there right now in our jobs, and we'd really rather not take it home to our family members. So protection against coronavirus for those of us who need to go and do our job in the hospital every day. And then also just perseverance, I think. Perseverance to continue to love and pour into our job as best we can, even in unusual times, I think would be two things that really a great way to pray for people who are in the healthcare field. And also, you may see around me, these are all LCCers who are also on the front lines. Please pray for them. I know you know many of them by name, and would love if you could also pray for them individually as well.
You know, guys, prayer is such an essential part of any mission, any ministry that we do, because God is at the center of our lives, and we need to be plugged in with what He's doing before we go about doing any ministry, any mission work. And we each can have a part in that. We can really participate by praying with people, because God listens to us when we pray, and He moves when we pray. So we just want to think about that this week. When you see one of those people, why don't you pick somebody to pray for this week, specifically for their health, for their ministry, that they will see God working in and through them this week. And just, again, prayers for protection over their family and in their work. So I think that would be an amazing way for you guys to see how God is working. And even if you don't see it right away, He is doing something. Trust me, He is doing something.